So for our practice today or tonight, pretty well-rounded practice with a little bit of extra movement around the spine and a little bit of balance. As far as props go, we are going to be getting a little bit into the hips and the ankle joints. If you know that you're a little bit tight in your hips and your ankles, especially when it comes to moving into a kind of a squat position, then it might be nice to have a blanket or a towel, something to elevate your seat. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, nice to have a towel or a blanket just to cushion your joints a little bit and to offer some additional support. So with that, we're going to start as we usually do in a comfortable seat before we start moving, okay? So making your way to your space, taking a look around you, making sure there's room around you, finding a seat that feels comfortable to help yourself arrive to your practice, to your space. And as we've done before, if it's helpful, it might be nice to take a look around your room, orienting yourself to your surroundings for a few moments, not attaching to any one particular thing that you see. And then when you have an idea of, here I am in this room, maybe you allow your gaze to drop down to the floor, maybe your eyes close down. Hands can be resting on the lap, or as we've been doing, always an option to bring your hands somewhere onto your body to help anchor your awareness to your body, to your hands. Noticing the body still probably buzzing. See if you can, moment by moment, start to slow things down a little bit in your body, shoulders dropping away from the ears. Maybe that space between your eyebrows softens a little bit. And then from this place of arriving in your body, I'll invite you to begin to notice, maybe deepen your next breath. Feeling the breath move in and feeling the breath move out. And doing our best throughout our practice, even as we move and ask strength from the body and we challenge the body in different poses, let's try to keep our breath right at the center. So if the breath gets away from us, take a pause from the poses, come back to that anchor. And then when we feel like we have a sense of grounding there, we can come back into the body to move again, to flow, to create space. If you'd like to join me, please exhale wherever you are. And when you're ready, feel the breath move into the body, sitting up a little bit taller. And then let the exhale go. Shoulders soften, jaw relaxes. And again, inhale, tall spine, full breath in. And a nice long exhale when you're ready, letting it go. Then maybe for a moment, bringing the hands together in front of your heart. So giving yourself a moment to show a bit of gratitude, to taking this time, to setting aside this time for you to be with yourself exactly as you are, showing up to each breath and each sensation with awareness, without judgment. And over the next few moments, beginning to lift the gaze and open the eyes. And when you're ready, we're going to meet standing at the top of our space. So coming on up to stand. So you can face towards the front of your space. Feet a comfortable distance apart. Arms can rest by your sides. Gaze can be forward out on the horizon. And beginning to rock the weight forward and back, finding a little bit of balance there as the weight shifts from the heels to the toes. And then as the feet ground, maybe a little sway from side to side, feeling the body catch you as you lean towards the edges and the insteps of your feet. And then ground evenly into both feet, super strong and rooted. And then from that grounding, feel the legs nice and strong, spine nice and proud. And then as you inhale, start to circle your wrists and take your arms to the sky. So I'm circling my wrists as I reach my arms overhead. And then as I exhale, wrist circle as I take the arms out and back down to where I started. Trying that again, maybe circling the wrists the other way as you inhale, take the arms up to the sky. And then with your exhale, circling them down, eyes stay nice and soft. And then from here, a little bit of balance. If you want to try this, inhale, reach both arms up to the sky and come up on your tippy toes. And then as you exhale, take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and bring your heels back down to the floor. So we'll try that again. Inhale, sweep the arms up, maybe lift the heels. And then as you exhale, slowly hands to heart and belly, heels root down to the floor. One more time with your breath. Good. Adding on from here, arms to your sides. This time as you inhale, little bit of balance, reach the arms up and take your right knee into your chest. And then as you exhale, arms come down, the right foot comes down to where you started. Good. Second side, inhale, left knee bends, arms reach up. Exhale, left foot down, arms by your sides. Adding on, inhale, bend your right knee in, reach up. This time, exhale, right foot down, little bend in the knees, and find a forward fold over your legs. Pausing here for a couple of breaths. Maybe find a sway through the upper body, maybe a little bounce in the knees. Rock the weight forward and back until your feet feel nice and strong and evenly grounded. On your next inhale, take your hands up, your legs, either shins or thighs, halfway lift. Exhale, down we go, refold, head heavy. Feel the weight in your right foot, and as you inhale, come up to stand, and I'll invite you to take your left knee with you, bend it in. And then exhale, left foot down, arms by your sides. Let's bring all of this together. Inhale, left knee bends in, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, both feet down, over the legs you go. Halfway lift, inhale, shoulders away from ears, long spine. Exhale, refold, take it all down. Keep the left foot grounded. Inhale, rise up. Maybe your right knee hovers up, up, up. Exhale, right foot down, arms by your side. Good. Adding on, keep both feet down. More traditional, inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold, take your time. Inhale to your halfway lift, shoulders back, heart forward. Exhale, bend into your knees until your fingertips can come down. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot way back. So you can frame that front foot with your fingertips or your hands. You could also take your right hand to the inside of your front foot to create a little bit more space. but my back heel is lifted, my front knee is bent, and I'm rocking forward and back a couple of times, letting my pelvis be heavy and my spine be nice and long. Take another breath here, working into your hips. Back leg is nice and active. And then come to center. You have the choice to drop the back knee down or keep it lifted as we come into a twist. Left hand is going to stay down on the floor, maybe to fingertips. Turn your chest to the right. Maybe bring your right hand to your right thigh. You can stay here or roll your right shoulder back. Maybe reach your right arm up to the sky, find a nice twist. If your back knee is down, you're hugging inner thighs, softening down into that back knee. If the back knee is lifted, that back leg is super active. Let's take one more breath here. And then exhale, looking down, take your time, right hand's gonna come down. I'm gonna invite you to, if your back knee is down, lift the back knee and step the back foot forward a little bit. We're gonna make our way back to a standing forward fold, but we might try to find a little bit of balance on the way. So I'm gonna look way forward. I'm gonna bend into my front knee, walk my fingertips forward. Maybe I lean forward so much that my back foot lifts off the floor. Maybe I hover my hands, and then left foot comes down, forward fold, top of the mat. Whew. Ground down into both feet, little bend in the knees, heavier head. Slowly roll your way up to stand. Stacking, stacking, and head stacks last. At the top of your mat, shoulders by the ears. Inhale, take them up. Exhale, drop them back and down. We're going to try the second side. Inhale, reach up to the sky. And then exhale, forward fold, down you go. Inhale to your halfway lift, lengthen your spine, firm up your legs. Exhale, bend into your knees, fingertips come down, and we're gonna step our right foot to the back of the mat this time. So left foot is forward, back heel can be lifted, back knee can be lifted, or you can bring it down. You can frame the front foot, you can bring the left hand to the inside of the front foot for space. But you see my left foot is really grounded there, so if the heel is lifted and the knee is way above the ankle, invite that left foot to really stamp down nice and fully. Rocking forward and back a couple of times. Softening through the face. And then we're gonna set up for our twist. So on this side, I'll show you what it could look like if you bring the back knee down, different variation. Right hand's gonna stay down on the palm or fingertips, turning my chest to my left leg, and I can bring my left hand to that left thigh. Staying here, twisting from that space behind my heart, or option to take that left arm and reach it up to the sky. Shoulders away from ears. Nice full twist with your breath. And then gazing down, beginning to take your left hand back down towards the floor. If the back knee is down like mine, I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna step my back foot forward. I'm gonna charge the weight into my left foot, take my hands forward, lean so much forward that maybe my back foot hovers even for a second. I could try to find a supported warrior three, or maybe my hands hover. And then right foot comes forward, forward fold, let it go. Halfway lift as you inhale, a little bit more weight in the toes, lengthen spine. And then exhale, hands are gonna come towards the floor, so bend your knees as much as you'd like to. Step one foot back at a time, arriving in your plank pose. Spread those fingertips. Feel the belly strong. Breath might be a little bit shaky, that's okay. And then keep the belly firm. Knees come down to the floor. You can untuck your toes and then slowly lower all the way down to your belly. So coming into one of my favorite variations on Cobra. Legs are long behind me. Tops of the feet are down. I'm going to take my hands out to the side. So nice and wide from my mat. Palms can stay down, or I like to bring them up to fingertips. So like little mountain peaks there. Elbows to the sky, shoulders lift. Pressing down into the feet. Feel the pelvis nice and heavy. You might even rock your hips side to side. On your next inhale, invite the chest to lift away from the floor, nice and wide across the chest. And then think about leading with the heart. As you exhale, try to lengthen to come back down. So we're going to keep this going. Inhale, pelvis heavy, heart lifts, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, lengthening down to where you started. Keep on going with your breath. So with every inhale, you rise. With every exhale, with control, you take it down. Legs are really grounding you there. And then the next time that you come up, strong arms, maybe pause. Maybe gaze over your right shoulder. Head back on straight. Exhale over the left shoulder. Head back on straight. Deep breath in, tall. Exhale, take it down. Arms can come by your sides. Maybe turn one cheek to the floor. Take a few moments to let everything drop down with gravity. Stay here as long as you need. Otherwise, over the next few breaths, beginning to plant your hands by your sides. Press yourself back through a tabletop position into your Balasana, your child's pose. So if you want to get a little bit more into the inner thighs, you might take the knees super wide so that you let your front body kind of melt down between your thighs there. If you want a different variation, a little bit more structure, maybe the knees come as close together as you can. So it's almost like a shelf for your torso, and you can rest your chest there. And you could take your arms back by your sides with the palms facing up, maybe forehead or one side of the head down. So as you take a few breaths, you choose what feels most supportive for you. Sometimes this kind of egg shape feels really nice for my low back. But some days it feels like a bit too much pressure around my head, so I'm gonna change it up and take my knees nice and wide again. But wherever you are, about 3 more breaths to really find space through the back body. And then looking forward, if your arms are back, take them forward and moving yourself towards a tabletop position. So fingers still spread nice and wide. And then when you're ready, toes begin to tuck. Root into the hands, firm up the belly. For a few moments, how would it feel to hover your knees off the floor? Yeah. So less than you think, like a little hover of the knees. Belly firing up, trusting the strength that you have. Even if you need to back off, you're still strong. And then over the next few breaths, pressing yourself up and back to downward facing dog. Maybe taking a longer stance, walking the feet back slightly. This is your first down dog of the day or for a while. Investigate and explore a little bit. What would feel good here? Do you want to take your feet wider? Do you want to bend the knees deeply? Do you want to swivel the hips or maybe let the head go a bit heavier, softening your gaze back? Feel the fingertips rooting down, really energetically grounding you there. And then we're going to take our feet as wide as the mat, so nice and wide beyond the hips. And then bending into the knees, heels are high. Begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. So I'm going to turn to you so you can see me. I'm going to invite us to come down into our squat, into our malasana. So my toes turn out, my heels turn in, and I start to take my seat down. If you begin to come down and your body's like, this is ridiculous, this is a horrible idea, I don't like it, there are lots of options to support you. Sometimes it's a matter of taking our feet wider, turning our toes out more, giving more space for our hips. If you start to get down and you feel like it's not your hips and maybe it's more of the ankle, and the ankles feel a bit tight, that's where a towel or a blanket can be nice. You can fold it up, you can roll it up, and you can take your heels onto the towel so that the heels are a bit lifted and you might get more space there. You can also sit up on a stack of books, sit up on a block, or sit against a piece of furniture. If it's still a bit too much, always an option to bring the hands down and stay a little bit higher in the hips, maybe rock from side to side. But wherever we are, working into the hips, finding a bit of strength in the legs, right, to hold us here. How about 2 more breaths? If you are comfortable in your malasana, outer arms towards the inner knees, maybe hands seek each other at the space of your heart. 1 more deep breath. Exhale, let it go. All right, wherever you are, start to come out of this shape, moving props out of the way. And if you're at the back of your space, we're going to look forward and crawl our way forward, either to down dog or all the way forward to plank pose. Heels nice and lifted, belly nice and strong. Take an inhale, press the mat away. Exhale, knees can soften down, lower yourself all the way down to your belly. Cobra pose, more traditional, elbows hug in, hands by your sides. Ground your feet, inhale, lift your heart up. Good, free your neck. Exhale, either child's pose or downward facing dog, go back. And then when you're ready, knees can come down to the floor, coming forward from child's pose to a tabletop position. Walking the hands back towards the knees, rising up to stand on the knees. Toes can be tucked or untucked, standing tall here. I'm going to take my hands to my low back, hug my elbows towards each other, feeling lots of space across the chest. This is a great place to stay, to engage through the belly, to ground down through the shins and the knees and the feet. If you feel like you want a little bit more space for your front body, then maybe you begin to support your low back. Maybe begin to look up, lean the upper body back, lengthen the neck, heart lifts, hips over the knees. Slowly come back, rising tall. Maybe hands rest to the belly, gaze drops down to the floor. So any pose where we are really opening across the chest, any kind of heart opener pose can be a bit activating for our nervous system. So if you come out of that pose feeling a little bit agitated or frustrated or a little bit riled up, that is absolutely normal. Come back into your breath. And then from here, sitting back onto your heels or taking your legs out to the side, finding a comfortable seat. We're going to take one seated forward fold. I'm going to give you two different choices. So the first one is Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet come together. You can always sit up on your towel or your blanket for a little bit of lift to your pelvis. And if you're here, arms come to the inner thighs, kind of like that Malasana squat, just in a different shape here on your butt. Sitting tall in the spine or beginning to lean towards the feet with the chest. That feels a little bit tricky for the knees or too much for the groin area. Maybe you'd rather extend the legs out straight in front of you. A softness to your knees, legs nice and active. And maybe from here you find a gentle forward lean with the chest towards the legs. So either shape is absolutely fine. One targets more of the inner thighs and the low back. This one that I'm in, a little bit more of the hamstrings, maybe the calves. Settling in for a few more rounds of breath. Maybe the eyes close, get a little bit heavier. Spine really long as it's leaning a little bit forward. Tongue can release away from the roof of your mouth. Feeling your breath move in. Feeling your breath move out. When you feel like you've had enough, you can always stay. Otherwise, taking your upper body nice and tall again, really active through the spine. Find your breath here. And then maybe scooting yourself a little bit forward on your space so you have some room behind you. Feet about hip distance apart, knees bent, grounding through your big toes. Let's work our way slowly down to our backs. So arms out to the sides, palms can face the sky. Roll the shoulders back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, ground into the feet, chin a little bit to the chest, navel to spine, as you mindfully and with control, lower yourself down to the mat. And I'm going to invite you, when you get a little bit shaky and your toes want to lift, try to press the toes down, sit in the shakiness for a moment, and then take yourself down. Whew. Maybe rock the knees side to side. And then we're going to come into a little modified inversion. Feet start hip distance apart, and you can bring your hands to your low belly or your hip points there, kind of bending through the elbows, relaxing the shoulders heavy. And then in your own time, bending one knee in and then the other towards the chest. And then inviting the legs to reach up towards the sky. So sometimes we can do this pose against the wall, turning ourselves and taking our legs up the wall. This is a great variation if you don't have that space really accessible to you. A little bit of belly engagement to keep the legs steady, and a reminder that you can take this as active as you want to. You can circle through the ankles, spread the toes, Maybe your knees would prefer to bend a little bit. So final few moments here to settle through the spine. Take another deep breath in. And then with your exhale, knees rebend in towards the chest. Option to give yourself a hug, hold on to your shins or behind your knees. Rock a little bit side to side. And then body begins to make its way down to the floor, towards your Shavasana, towards a place where you can find a few minutes of rest. If you have something to cover your eyes, might be a nice way to minimize distractions. If you'd rather be on your side or even in a seated meditation instead of on your back, that is all absolutely wonderful. Arms can be out wide with the palms to the sky. Hands can rest onto the physical body. Wherever you are in your breath, please exhale all your air out. Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth, sigh it out. A couple minutes of well-deserved rest. Reminding yourself that you are enough because you are, because you exist. You're not enough because of what you produce or what you achieve. Your wholeness is not conditional. So may this practice help us embody what's always here. You are enough. You are here. That is enough. If you need some more time to rest, please rest. As we come towards the end of our time together, I will invite you to bring your awareness into a deeper breath. Bring awareness to the edges of your body as they start to awaken. Maybe a rock of your head side to side or a wiggle of your toes. And then in no rush at all, maybe taking a big stretch, reaching arms overhead, lengthening legs long. And as you're ready, knees can bend in one at a time to turn you over to one side. Pausing there on your side for a few moments to feel your head heavy, belly soft. And then with your top hand guiding you, begin to press yourself away from the floor, finding your way back to your seat, back to where you started. And as you arrive with a tall spine, another opportunity to bring your hands together in front of your heart, to drop your chin to your chest and to give yourself a bit of gratitude here. Thanking yourself for showing up and for taking the time to be with exactly what is here right now without fixing, without rushing to change it. And I bow to the teacher in each of you. I bow to your breath and I bow to your practice. So thank you so much.